Hello, everybody. Amy Cabrera here. I am going to help you all learn all about GoCCL, which of course is Carnival Cruises. So I'm going to give you a basic overview of what Carnival Cruises is. And then in the advanced booking, you'll find a couple more trainings on a little bit more in-depth training on Carnival Cruises. So with that said, let's go ahead and start navigating. So I've already logged in. In order to log in, you go to goccl.com. At this point, you should have registered, because that is part of the instructions in the new agent training. So make sure that you have registered. It does take about 24 to 72 business hours to receive the authorization in order to log in. So once you have received that, you can go ahead and log in. For this training, we are going to talk about an individual booking, okay? For cruises, typically you have to have 8 rooms or more for it to be considered a group booking. So up until 7 rooms, you do them individually. Anything past 8 rooms or more, you're going to go ahead and create a group booking. For this section, we're going to talk about individual bookings alone. All right. So in order to create the booking, I'm going to go ahead and go into booking, individual stateroom, and then we're going to see what pops up here and start entering the field questions that it asks. Okay. So give this just a moment for it to log in. And you can see here it says create individual booking. You can either do it by sailing or by ship and date. So for this, we're going to do it by sailing. Interline essentially means any travel agent rates, anybody that works for for Carnival itself, you would click on Interline. Military, of course, that's all military members. And then, of course, senior citizens 55 and older, you would click on that button. What this is going to do is essentially bring up any offer codes that are offered to these specific qualifiers. Okay, for this, we're going to go ahead and leave it blank. The state of residency is where they reside in at the moment. For this case, I'll go ahead and use California, and we will then filter out up here. All these blue boxes, these are all filters, okay? So essentially, let's say that you have a client that's like, I want to sail in 2021. I'm thinking of springtime. I don't know what's available. You want to narrow it down a little bit. Do you mean springtime, March through May? Are we talking about April and May? Are we talking about March and April, right? Narrow it down just a little bit. But for this scenario, we'll just choose the month of April, 2021, okay? So we're going to go far enough out. Now, if they wanted to choose within 2 months, you can select 2 months worth of dates. However, that's a lot of data. You really want to help your client narrow it down. So for this case, like I said, we're just going to choose April. Now, there's a couple of ways for you to play this. Now, notice that when I selected April 2021, it now narrowed down what is available, right? It grayed out 3 of the boxes. So depending on what is important to your client, for example, if a departure port is what is important, meaning that they want to leave, let's say, out of Los Angeles, or they want to leave out of Galveston, that is what is important, right? Meaning like they live nearby, they don't want to fly anywhere, then go ahead and select that first, and it's then going to narrow down the sail to and the ship and the duration, okay? If sailing to somewhere is the most important, meaning they don't care where they depart from, then select that first, right? Maybe they really want to go to the Bahamas. Then you want to select that first, and it will then narrow down your departure ports. So let me go ahead and give you an example. Let's say, for example, they truly wanted to go to the Bahamas. Okay, we're going to choose that. Now watch what happened to the depart from. See how it grayed everything out here? It now narrowed down the ports where the ships are departing from in order to go to the Bahamas. And I'll show you another example. Let's say it wasn't the Bahamas. Let's say they wanted to go to Mexico. Now you can see what happened. It narrowed it down here, right? So instead of everything else that was available, now we have Long Beach, San Diego, and San Francisco. Now, if we did it the other way, departing from, let's say we wanted to depart from New Orleans. Well, where's New Orleans going to? It's only going to the Caribbean. So now I know if a client wants to go to New Orleans, then I can only offer the Caribbean. I'm not going to drive myself crazy. If they want to leave from New Orleans but want to go to Mexico, well, it looks like they're going to have to fly to California first in order to do so, right? Again, these are things that are out of our control as travel agents. These are up to the cruise lines and their departure ports, right? So when there's something's out of your control, it's just a simple conversation that you need to have with your client. Now, for this scenario, let's go ahead and leave it as Galveston, Texas, and we will do sailing to the Caribbean. Why not? Let's pretend we're going there, okay? We already have our guest qualifiers. We're going to leave those blank, and our state of residency is California, so let's go ahead and search sailing. Now, one thing that I want to talk about is the VIFP number. Very important, fun person. That's this over here. It was actually on the first page as well. The VIFP. What that is if anybody has sailed with Carnival Cruise before, then they have a number. If they don't know what that number is, that's okay. Remember, we have direct access to the vendors, which also means we have direct access to their system. So let's say they're like, I have sailed with Carnival Cruises before, but I really don't know that number. Hey, not to worry. Let me go ahead and find it for you. How do you spell your first name on how you sail when you sailed, right? So you spell their first name, you spell their last name, and then you're going to ask them for their date of birth, and you'll see that you can look it up. Not a problem. What happens when they have a VIFP number? We have some clients that maybe they love to gamble, right? Maybe they're big gamblers. So you'll see that you'll get a different rate code for gamblers that have a different onboard credit. Maybe they have extra casino chips, something like that, right? So it's specific to them and their VIFP number. So you can see here, now we narrowed it down to April. Of course, we're going to the Caribbean. I did not narrow down the duration. However, I could have. I just left that blank, right? But let's say somebody's like, I can only go for 3 days or 4 days. No problem, narrow it down. For this case, let's go ahead and choose a 7-day sailing. Let's see, April 7th, 2021, 7-day Eastern Caribbean. And you can see here, interior starting at $624 per person, and a suite is going to go for $1,582 per person. Let's see if there's another. Here's the 7-day sailing, Saturday, April 10th, 2021, Western Caribbean, starting at $459, and it goes up to $1,587. And then this one has Cozumel Plus, right? Maybe we choose this one. I think this might be a good one. 7-day Western Caribbean, Cozumel Plus. If you're not sure what's involved, click on the blue box, right? And that's going to tell you the complete itinerary. So you can see exactly where it's going to stop. It looks like it's going from New Orleans. They're going to have a fun day at sea, go to Cozumel, go to Belize, Mahogany Bay, fun day at sea, and then back to New Orleans. So that's the 7-day trip, right? So let's go ahead and select that one. I think that would be good. And it's on the Carnival Glory. And we'll select the sailing. Once we select the sailing, then it's going to go into the rate codes, okay? The rate codes. Now, for right now, we do have this rate code right here, OHF. This OHF is specific to Archer Travel, okay? They did this specifically for us. What this is they get a reduced deposit and onboard credit as long as they pay the gratuities up front, okay? Meaning like the gratuities are paid, the client goes, which you should recommend anyway. I mean, to be quite honest, you should recommend it because that way your client's not getting a bill at the end of their vacation. Nobody likes that, right? So let's take care of it all at the beginning. And that's essentially what it is, prepaying your gratuities. So, but if they want something different, you can see this one is starting at $489. So let's see what other rate codes we have going on. I'm looking at the early saver sale, Fun Select. This is everything that is offered, right? This is everything that you see on TV, on commercials, on YouTube ads, all of that. I can find any rate code that is being advertised. That's no problem. I have direct access, right? So these rate codes, they mean something different. And what the way you're going to tell is by looking at see details, okay? So like the early saver sale, it's no upgrades. It's going to be the base rooms, probably obstructed view, etc. Right? Fantastic savings sales. Let's see what that entails. So you can click on see details, and let's see. So refundable deposit, subject to cancellation penalties, blah, blah, blah. So it's not really giving you a whole lot of information. Let's see what this early saver reduced deposit gives us. 50% off reduced deposit. onboard credit and deposit are non-transferable, no problem. Let's see. So it just kind of just tells you everything about the promo code, right? So based on the promo code, I'm thinking this OHF rate code is probably the best one. If you wanted to compare them, let's say like you wanted to see the differences, you can check on this box, and then you can click on compare, which is right here, and it'll give you the differences. What is the difference between the two, right? And it'll show you right here. So let's go ahead, and for this scenario, we will choose OHF. So let me uncheck these boxes. And we're going to start with, let's go with the balcony, okay? Whichever one you click on is kind of what you're locked into. If not, you're going to have to go back and go back to this page. So let's go ahead and click on balcony, and we'll hit continue. Balconies are pretty popular, you guys. I highly recommend recommending a balcony for anybody who is prone to seasickness. I also recommend doing a midship, mid-cabin, okay? How you're going to find midship, mid-cabin is, you can see here, these are the different categories of the ship, right? So you can see it goes all the way up to 9C, right? This is premium balcony, premium wrap around balcony. So that's going to be on the aft of the ship, so the front of the ship or the back of the ship. And you can see, obviously, the pricing goes up a little bit, right? So for this, we want to make sure that we are on specific decks. If you ever want to look up the decks of this specific ship, you most certainly can do so. There's deck plans that are online, or you can always order the deck plans from GoCCL. And all I mean by ordering is putting in your name and address, and they send them right to you. But you can, I suggest go paperless, right? Just look it up online. So let's say we wanted a midship, mid balcony, and you can see, you guys, the price difference is not that much, right? Like, we're going from one category to another. Here, that's a little bit of a jump because you're getting an upper or Empress deck, but it's still not too much, right? If you just want to send a quote from here, you just click on quick quote. I strongly suggest that you email this to yourself, okay? Email it to yourself first, then email it to the client. That way you always have a copy. You never want to be in a position where you email something to the client and the client goes, okay, great, that looks good. And you're like, I don't know what I sent them. I forgot. What did I click on? What were the dates, right? You never want to be in that position. So always, always email yourself the quote first so that you have a copy, and it also gives you the opportunity to brand yourself, which is coming in a couple trainings later, okay? But that being said, let's go ahead and pull this quote, okay? Right here, we are looking at the agent view. Agent view is going to give you the breakdown of everything, including your commissions, okay? So you can see that the cruise rate is $739. The non-commissional cruise amount, it means that we cannot make commissions on this amount, okay? Adding vacation protection, I always recommend that you add vacation protection, you guys. You can always remove it later, okay? It's much easier to remove and reduce the price rather than add it onto the price, right? So always add it, and let the client know, hey, I've added travel protection. I strongly recommend it. If you don't need it, not a problem. We can simply remove it. It's that simple, right? But I always like to give a higher quote and then go down if needed. Okay, so you can see here, we have the deposit for right now. It's going to be $468. This is due by May 13th, so it's giving them a few dates to go ahead and place the deposit. So it gives them time to talk about it and think about it if they need to, right? And as well as the final payment will not be due until January 11th, 2021. So they have all the way up until January 11th to pay the remaining amount. Clearly, this final payment is not has not taken away the 468 yet, right? So it would be final payment would be less the 468. Now, if you want to see your perks and what is being offered for this one, it's $50 that they're getting as onboard credit. The commission on this one is going to be $273.06. Because, you know, Carnival Cruises, let me tell you guys, Carnival Cruises is on the lower end of the pricing. Plus, they're running some awesome deals right now. So how long did that take us to pull, right? It took us like a total of maybe 5 minutes. So in reality, when you put it in perspective, it's like you're making about $200 for about 20 minutes worth of work. I'm good with that, right? So you can go ahead and send it. Let's go ahead and do guest view. And once you click on guest view, down below, you're going to see a different menu. And you can see it says share this quick quote. This is where I would share it to myself. And before I send it to myself, or excuse me, while I send it to myself, what I would do is be on the phone with the client and discuss what it is that I'm finding, right? To make sure that this fits right for them. You want to minimize the amount of work that you're doing. And you can do that by having your client on the phone and overcoming objections. Hey, do you want to be in midship? Do you care if it's an obstructed view? Would you like a suite? Are you thinking a balcony? Are you thinking an ocean view? Et cetera, right? That's all in a conversation. So that way you're not spinning your wheels, picking a balcony, and they're like, no, that's too expensive. And, then you come to find out they were okay in an interior. That's something that you should absolutely find out well in advance before you even email the quote, okay? So I always recommend getting the client on the phone. Now, see that I just sent the email to myself, and it's going to be over in my email. I can grab it from there and then email it to the client, all the while branding myself. Now that I'm done with this, let's say that they're ready to book, then I would go ahead and click on the actual select, and then I would hit continue. And what this is going to do is move you through the motions of actually booking the room. So you'll notice that when you pick a lower rate code, it doesn't allow you to pick the room because it's called a guaranteed room, meaning you're guaranteed that room type, but you are not guaranteed where it is on the ship. You're not going to pick the deck. You're not going to pick the room number. It's kind of like a surprise, right? So when that's important is, especially when they pick a balcony room and they want to get the lowest rate for the balcony room, that's all fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, they might have a huge tender on their balcony, meaning they can't even use their balcony because there's a big old, like mini little boat on their balcony, right? That's not something that, some people don't care, but some people may really care. Like, I wanted a balcony. I want to be able to sit on my balcony, right? I want to be able to see the sun. So it's very important that everybody understands what a guaranteed low tier room is, okay? And you should explain that to your client so that there's no surprises when they come on board. Now, for this scenario, obviously we picked a middle rate. So we can pick our room, and this is going to be at the back of the ship, and this is the extended balcony. So I'm going to go ahead and select this stateroom. You can see it's the only room that's actually available because it's in green. That's how you know. And you can see right here, it has the little map on where it is. So this is pretty midship, and it's at the back of the ship. If I wanted to choose the Empress deck, then I can see what is available here. You can kind of see if there's anything that'll pop up there. We hit apply filters and see if that'll pop up with something, but nope, looks like the only thing available is going to be the back of the ship on the upper deck. So let's go ahead and select this stateroom. Select, continue. And this is where you're going to start inputting their information. Again, if you had already put in their VISP number, at this point, it would actually auto-populate all of their information. You wouldn't need to really plug in a whole lot. But if not, then it gives you another opportunity to add in their VISP number, okay? And then you would just continue to the next guest, and at that point, you would be at checkout. Now, let's say you wanted to hold this, because remember, the deposit's not due until May 13th. It is currently May 8th, right? So let's say you wanted to hold this, you would just simply input their information. Please make sure you are cross-checking their ID. It is very important that you ask them for the correct spelling to match the spelling on their ID. Always confirm it with them. Spell it back, okay? Avoid mistakes. That way, you don't have a mess to deal with later. So I always repeat it back. I usually send them a text and I say, can you confirm the spelling of this name? And they say yes. Okay, great. Now it's on them, right? I confirmed with them with the spelling. Once you have that, then you can go ahead and check out without a credit card, without placing the deposit. if they miss their deposit date, then the reservation will cancel out on its own. So you guys get very familiar with GoCCL. I hope that helped you navigate through one of your first bookings. In my opinion, GoCCL is one of the easier ones to navigate through and to book your travel with. And of course, there's a lot of different tools in here. You guys start to play around in here. There's training. You can do ship tours. There's seminars at sea. There's all kinds of stuff in here. And then, of course, we have rewards that we get for any booked clients. So I hope that has helped you guys. Again, my name is Amy Cabrera, and happy booking. And I'm so excited that you've decided to be a travel agent. With that said, I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.